breast cancer is the greatest fear that women have. So it's a very easy sell to women. If you take this, you're going to get breast cancer. So that was the study. That was the information that was embedded in all of medicine. It's been contradicted many times since then, that it was a very poorly run study. The Pepe trial in 2007 contradicted what the Women's Health Initiative did, but did it change the landscape in the way providers provided hormonal care for women? The answer is no. In 2018, JAMA, Journal of American Medical Association, stated that after 18 years of use, women did not have an increase in strokes, breast cancer, and heart attacks. Menopause.org has stated that women probably should be on hormones for life. Now, why do they use the word probably? Well, it's a legal issue, right? So if a woman gets breast cancer after she's taken hormones, and Menopause.org says women should be on hormones for life, they don't want to get lassoed into a corner. So they use that terminology. And there's other studies. In the functional medicine world, we feel very, very confident that hormones do not cause cancer. One of the books out there by a world-renowned oncologist called Estrogen Matters, he contradicts that estrogen causes breast cancer. But yet, if you look at the landscape of medicine, you cannot get hormones from many, many providers. And if you do get hormones, it's for a short period of time. And if you do get hormones, they use synthetic oftentimes versus bioidentical. And again, Epiphany does all of this very different, just like the functional medicine world does. When I was creating Epiphany, I became very interested in bioidentical. And I had given bioidentical all the way back to 2005. I had a friend call me. He was opening up a compound pharmacy. Women were not taking Premarin anymore. Premarin's interesting. That was a drug that was given to your grandmother and your great-grandmother. And for 50 years, women took Premarin. Premarin came from a pregnant horse's urine. So we have a horse, have him pee in a trough, collect the urine, or a pregnant horse, by the way, pee in a trough, collect the urine, extract the estrogen, put it in pill form, and that was called Premarin, and millions of women were on it. When the Women's Health Initiative came out, they stopped it. So millions of women were feeling great, and then a year later, they were feeling horrible, okay? So in 2005, when some of the literature was coming out that maybe the Women's Health Initiative is not correct, bioidentical pharmacies started popping up around the country. Bioidentical means the hormone is created in the same fashion that God created your estrogen, your testosterone, your progesterone. So it became very positive for a lot of women that they were going to take a bioidentical hormone instead of a synthetic hormone, okay? So I became very interested in the bioidentical, and I gave them for years and years, but the dosing was not specific. It was a guesswork. So you would come into my office, you said, I'm having hot flashes, and I would say, okay, I'm going to put you on this bioidentical. I'm going to take a dime's worth, put it on your thigh, and massage it in. Now you think about that. If I say put a dime's worth of toothpaste on your toothbrush, how do you get a dime size? Some days you get a nickel, some days you get, well, what's less than a dime? I don't know, a smaller coin. Mm-hmm. And so it was not very exact. Plus, we didn't do hormones. We just simply said, hey, you're having hot flashes, take estrogen. Hey, you're having decreased sexual function, take testosterone. So is there a better way? And so as I was investigating this, I investigated the pellet world. Pellets are little tiny hormones, either testosterone or estrogen, that are placed right underneath your skin, and they provide a very steady state hormone approach for 3 months. People say, wow, that's new technology? And the answer is no. Pellets have been around since 1939. Johns Hopkins University. Women had surgical hysterectomies. They were feeling horrible. They were young women, and these OBGYNs, these gynecologists at Johns Hopkins investigated, talked to their pharmacist, and said, hey, can we give these ladies some estrogen? And so they did, and they provided them in pellet form. They inserted them underneath their skin, and voila, the pellet history was born. It predated anything oral by 20 plus years. The estrogen pills came out in the late 50s. And so when a woman says to me today, pellet therapy is new, no, it's been around longer than all other forms of hormone. The reason I like BioTE, though, specifically, BioTE, B-I-O-T-E, is because it's molecularly identical, bioidentical. So I like to use Elon Musk's spaceship docking at the space station. It has to be perfect, right? His spaceship comes in and binds to the spaceship exactly. It can't be off a little bit, because how can you get the astronauts from one place to another? Well, that's kind of like BioTE. It's bioidentical, molecularly identical, And so when it's floating through your body, it's going to look for the receptor and it's going to bind exactly like it should.
And can you describe how that's different from a synthetic form that they've tried to make kind of like our molecules in our body?
This is the big argument from clinical medicine versus the biochemist, right? The biochemist says, I can make that in the lab and it's exactly like the bioidentical. And I'm going to say, well, that's wrong. That's incorrect. You may say that it's structurally the same, but how it works clinically is not the same. Women do not feel as good on a synthetic hormone as they do on a bioidentical. A purist, a biochemist may say, well, that's placebo effect. I disagree. And even if it is placebo effect, every single double-blinded study uses a placebo effect, or uses a placebo. And in the placebo group, you will see people that will say, yes, I feel better on this drug, whatever the drug is. And obviously, if the drug's a great drug, there's going to be a lot more people that feel better on the drug. But the point is, the placebo group always has a positive because they think that the medicine is going to make them feel better. So medicine is much more than just looking at a chemically structured compound and saying, this is biochemically the same. It's not.
Because you're saying all the side effects are the bad side. So like a placebo is going to make you feel good, but they're not going to complain of bad side effects. Whereas the synthetic comes in and all these women are having side effects from the synthetic, whereas they weren't with the bioidentical. Is that what
That is what I see.